everyone, it's Sharonda from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Handmaid's Tale Season 3, Episode 5, Unknown Caller. So I'm so sorry, you guys. I've been so severely behind in all of my videos. It's just been really hard because I work 2 full-time jobs. I work a 9 to 5 and then I come do this, and with my movies mixed with the TV shows, I've just been so behind, you guys. But I have good news. I have the next couple of episodes of Handmaid's Tale up to episode 8. So after today, I'm going to do this review, and then an hour later after I finish uploading and watching it, I'll have this week's episode. But this weekend, I'm actually going to catch up and I'm going to finish out episode 7 and 8. And so those are posts like right after the episode airs on Hulu. So just so you guys know, you don't have to wait for me. I'm going to already have the episodes up. So I just wanted to give you guys that disclaimer. I don't know if they're going to give me the other episodes after that, but episode 7 and 8 will be right there as soon as the episode is finished airing. So just so you guys know. But y'all already know I'm upset after this episode. I am pissed, and mark my words, I will never, ever care about Serena. I would never think that she has any redemption left in her. She raggedy until the end of time. I don't care what happens to her. I don't care what good she does in any other episodes. I am done with Serena. Just make sure that you heard me say that. So if she does anything good, you guys be like, well, how you feel? I still don't like her, ever. So just so you know. So I'm going to keep up with the format. And for this, I kind of need to switch in between, just because June, Serena, and Luke's backstories, storylines in this episode, they all are kind of interwoven with one another. But for the most part, I'm going to go ahead and start with June. So we see the episode opens up and June is thinking about Luke. And so we see, she makes this comment like no one died from the lack of sex, but the lack of love. And that's one of the things that the handmaids don't have, is they have sex because they're raped every month by the commanders, but they don't have love. Like, no one cares for them. They don't have comfort. You know, no one really cares about their well-being outside of just making sure that they can reproduce. And so we see that June is kind of having these flashbacks as she thinks back to the night that Luke and June conceived Hannah. And so really thinking about Luke's touch and, you know, how it felt to be held by Luke. But even while she was going through this backstory, I was just like, so you miss Luke now? Because I was just like, I understand June's predicament. And we even see later she tells Luke that she had to do what she needed to do to survive. But it's just like, girl, you ain't been thinking about Luke this whole time. And I don't know if it's more so just because she feels as though that this life that she's been thinking that she can go back to with Luke, that is really not obtainable at this point, especially after she basically passes up on probably her only opportunity to leave Gilead, because she wants to stay back and bring Hannah out of this society. And so I just felt a certain type of way when she was like talking about him, because I just like, girl, you was like all up on Nick, and can we bring Nick back? Where did he go? Can we figure out what the heck is going on with him? Because I need to see more of my boo Nick, because I miss him a little bit. So we see that June is with her little raggedy hand walking part in the other handmaid of Matthew. I don't even know her name. I don't even care to know her name because she just gets on my nerves. But she had a little bit of redemption towards the end of the episode. And so we see as they're walking together, she tells her that I pray for your husband that he returns Nicole back to her rightful home. And I was just like, ma'am, She at the home that she needs to be at. This is not her rightful home. Just why do you say the things that you say? And so it sounded like she was trying to be nice at first. And then when she said that last part, June just looked at her like what? And so she tells her that you wouldn't have married a man capable of kidnapping a baby. Like, you definitely have like better judgment than that. And I was just like, girl, shut up. Like, she just really irking my nerves. And so when June tells her to like bite me, I was like, thank you, June, because little raggedy of Matthew, she just absolutely gets on my nerves at every single scene that she's basically in. I just don't understand. And I know that to me, it feels as though that she's trying to it's better for her to just live in this denial, to accept the rules of Gilead, because that's the only way for her to survive. Whereas June's only way to survive is fighting back, fighting for the resistance. And so we see that June talks to the commander. We see that the commander, Lawrence, and his wife, they have a nice exchange. He tells his wife, like, I like what you do with your hair. It reminds me like how you used to wear this hair, where we are given like little glimpses that there were happier times for the Lawrences, that they lived a very happy and blissful life. But it's just so much doom and gloom when we actually see them in their households, like in this whole Gilead society, that it just seems that it sucked all of the life out of them and also too out of their marriage. And so she asks Commander Lawrence, like, hey, like, is Luke in danger? You know, are they going to try to do something to get this baby back now that they've seen him and they know where Nicole is? And he was just like, girl, we all in danger. And I was like, yeah, ain't nobody safe. And we see that so many times. We've seen how Fred has fallen out of power. We've seen how Serena lost her finger. You know, you can be in good standing one day and then the next day you can be on the wall or you can be reprimanded. Like, nobody is safe in the society, no matter what ranking you have in Gilead. And so Mrs. Lawrence tells June, like, hey, someone's here to speak to you. And so it's the Waterfords. And I was just like, I already know that there's no good that's going to come out of this. And so they basically have a conversation with her and they tell her, like, we need you to talk to Luke. We want to see Nicole. We want to be able to have closure, to be able to tell her goodbye. And June was just like, Beach, no, I'm not doing anything for you guys. I'm not okay with this. I don't want to do this. You know, we made a decision to get Nicole out. I don't understand, like, why are we trying to do all of this now? And so they eventually convince her to call Luke. And so she's calling him. And of course, I was like, I'm glad to see that we still not answering unknown callers. Like, who is this trying to call my phone? And so he hits ignore, but then he eventually answers the phone and then they have an exchange. And just to see how Luke's reaction is, because this is the first time he's actually heard June's voice. Like, he's gotten messages. He has baby Nicole or Holly. He has her, but he's never been able to actually talk to June. So to see his reaction and how he tells her he loves her and, you know, just making sure he can, like, tell her, like, I'm still here with you. But basically she convinces Luke to meet the Waterfords at the airport. And so at first he was like, hell no, I'm not meeting them nowhere. I don't trust them. But he was like, I would do it, but only Serena can come. I'm not messing with Fred. He doesn't need to be anywhere near this baby. I will meet with Serena because that's what you asked me to do. And so he asked her, is she okay? She tells him she's fine. And so you could just tell that the whole phone call, she was just like, I am not feeling this. Like, something just doesn't feel right. But at the end of the day, she didn't really have no choice. Like, even when the Waterfords were asking her, I was like, why are you guys asking her like she really has a choice or a say in all of this? Because she doesn't. So, I mean, at first I was mad when she agreed to it because I was just like, they finna come try to take this baby. It's just something about it. I just don't trust them. But she gives in and she really didn't have a choice. I don't even know why they build all that suspense on whether or not June was going to say yes or no. And so she has a good interaction. Mrs. Lawrence has an interaction with June, you know, after she gets off the phone and she, like, you can tell she wants to break down and cry, but she just says, in my excuse, she goes to her room. But Mrs. Lawrence has a conversation with her and just says that, you know, I know that that must have been hard. Like, that must have been a very hard thing for you to do. And so we're seeing that Mrs. Lawrence, she has a soft side to her. We still don't understand why she reacts the way that she does. It kind of seems as though she has off moments, but we do see that she talks about how Mr. Lawrence was different, how he used to, like, make these tapes for her, and that he used music to show, like, his love for her. So we can tell that Mr. Lawrence has always been a complicated man, and he's found ways to effectively communicate with his wife. But she just talks about how she misses, like, who he used to be, like, kind of the man before Gilead. Like, that is who I miss. And so they have an interesting conversation where June says maybe there's a little of him left because he helped Emily, he helped Nicole get away. So, like, there's still some good of that. And so even if it's just a sliver, that's still something that, you can hold on to, especially since that's all you have. And so it kind of ties into how all June has is her memories of Luke, because she can't be with him because she's now a part of this new society. All she can do is hold on to those small group of memories of the good times that they had before Gilead. And so we see that Luke is just going through it because he's just like, I don't know about this. I don't feel right about this. And so him and Serena, they have a very interesting interaction. But before that, we know that Fred has been trying to get back into the good graces of Serena, trying to rebuild their marriage or whatever kind of situationship that they have going on. And so we see that the other commanders, they're having a meeting in regards to what to do about baby Nicole. And so Serena's waiting outside as the men are meeting, and Rita tells her like, hey, it's a blessing that she's okay. And even though Serena's just like, but is she? Because she's not here with me, you know? So she's still struggling with if she made the right decision. She knows that it's what's best for her, but it still hurts her to be away from her child, because I still not recognizing that that is her child. And so Fred comes and he tells Serena that she can come inside the meeting. He's trying to include her more to show that he's making an effort to do what he said he was going to do. And so the men are kind of looking like, why is she in here? But they read a report. And so they basically go through like her doctor's records. She has a tooth now. And so even hearing these little things, like it brings her some, you know, some warmth. She's still sad about it, but to know that Nicole is okay and she's still growing, she's still thriving, you know, that gives her like a little bit of hope. And so once they adjourn the meeting, Fred and Serena are left there. He's just like, what do you want? Because I thought that you wanted her to be with Luke, to be safe, to not be a part of this world that all of a sudden you have such issues with. But like, it seems like you're still struggling. So like, what do you actually want me to do? And so she says like what she wants is impossible. So it's not really, she can't get what she wants. But we see that they make the decision to, you know, go and say goodbye. He wants to give her the chance to actually have closure, to be able to say a formal goodbye to baby Nicole. And so we see that Rita gives Serena something that came for her before she goes to get on the plane to see Nicole. We don't know what it is at that time, but later towards the end of the episode, we realize that it's something that June sent for her to give to Luke. So when Serena gets off the plane, she sees Mr. Tuello. If you guys don't remember him, when the Waterfords went to do their visit with Canada, he's the one who met with her and told her like, hey, if you want to get out, I got you. But she declines his offer. And so he's the one to greet her. And then basically he tells her like, hey, we need you to blend in. So we need you to change your clothes. You can't be wearing that around meetings. It's just going to cause too much of an issue. So he gives her the change of clothes, and it's weird seeing Serena like regular clothes. Like we saw what she looked like in her flashbacks. But to really see her kind of put on clothes to represent like what her old life was before. And so her and Luke just have a very interesting conversation. So Luke is just looking like, I want nothing to do with you. I don't like you. Like, you kidnapped my wife. You raped my wife. You got her like breeding kids for you at this point. So Luke is like, he's had a lot of anger that he hasn't been able to process. And so seeing her, he still has like all these feelings come back up as he sees Serena. So they're meeting in the airport. And so they're kind of having this conversation. And so he basically says, she tells Luke like where June is, that she's okay, she's being taken care of. And then basically he tells like, how are you able to sleep at night? Like, how do you still feel as though you're justified in what you do? Like, you're trying to have this regular conversation with me, like you haven't kidnapped all these women, my wife especially, and that you're doing all these horrible things. But in like your heart of hearts, you think that you're a good person. Like, we're just having this random conversation. Like, you're not basically the devil, because like they are the devil. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel about her. And so you know, she basically they have this like back and forth, and where she's telling him like she's the one who helped make sure that Nicole got to him. She looked out for June. She made sure that June was safe. Like she is actually fighting for her. And so it kind of takes him aback a little bit when he hears this, and then he asks her, you know, do you want to hold her? And that's like, don't let her hold nothing. She could see her from afar. She don't need to be holding her or doing nothing with Nicole. So they kind of have this interaction. She asks him she tries to give him this something from a family heirloom of her dad's. And he was just like, girl, you are not her mother. June is her mother. And she was like, well, we talking biology, boo-boo. Like, you ain't her daddy either. And I was like, Serena. But she had a point. But he was just like, I'm going to tell my daughter the truth. Like, who you are, what you've done, how she came to be in this world. I'm going to tell her the truth. This is not no happy memory like, hey, these are your other parents. Like, no. And it's just crazy that Serena truly believes these things and thinks that she's right. And this whole interaction between her and Luke, I'm just like, girl, how did you think Luke was going to react to you? Did you really think he was going to be okay with the things that you have done and really raise Nicole to think that she like has this other mother? Like, no, that's not how this works. And so, they kind of go away. He like takes the thing from her after she tells him how she helped June, how she helped Nicole get away. He takes it from her. He says, I make sure she, you know, gets it and knows who you are or whatnot. But as she's leaving, you know, Mr. Tuello, he's telling her like, hey, my offer still stands. Like, we can help you right now. Like, let us know what you want to do. And so she says that she only has one home and she's going back to her home. But as she's on the plane, we see that she has a phone in her bag that has a note saying like, if you need me. And so he leaves this phone. I'm sure this is going to come back up. We see that she hides the phone for one of the guardians who's been accompanying her per the orders of her husband, Fred. And so when she gets off the plane and Fred consoles her and she's crying, and then basically he says like, she tells him that it's over, and he says like it doesn't have to be. And I was like, oh snap, these fools finna do what I thought they said they was gonna do. I really thought that they was gonna plan a whole little ambush and take Nicole at the airport and get on the plane, but I was just like, okay, they didn't do it. So I was like, I can have hope a little bit. But we find out that girl, I'm still mad about it, y'all. I'm really trying to like make peace with this. But long story short, we see that we cut to June and of Matthew. They're at the store, and of Matthew, she just seems like something's like not right with her, and she says, I'm not myself today. And then basically she tells her that she's pregnant, she's with child, but we see that she has issues with that because it's just like you have all these children, but it's like you're still living in a prison. And so we see that maybe of Matthew, maybe she's not as messy and raggedy as I think that she is. She's really having issues, but the only way for her to deal is through her denial. And so she tells her that you know, I'm happy that Nicole is safe with your husband. I'm happy that they're okay. And so it seems like they found a type of common ground, and maybe she's not as raggedy as we thought that she were, but the guardians come and get June. And so they take June. I say, Lord, I know this can't end well. So Aunt Lydia grabs her out of the car. They got her a new dress. I'm like, what did she got all this stuff? Like, what is happening right now? And so we find out that these fools have staged a press conference to, I guess, try to publicly appeal to the world that this baby was taken from us by this man. Like, we're sad, or Handmaid is sad. And like Aunt Lydia was looking at June like, girl, don't get no ideas. Don't get no ideas up here. Put your head down and just let them say what they're going to say. But she was like, Serena. And I was just like, this is why you can't trust Serena. This is why I don't like Serena. So she totally reneges on the deal that her and June had, and basically they come up with this plan, and now they're going to try to find a way to get baby Nicole back. And I'm just pissed the hell off. I was so mad when this episode was over. I was just like, I can't even do this. I can't even believe she did this. Like, I can believe she did this because I know she ain't Ish, and she ain't gonna never be Ish. But I thought that she understood that she was doing what was best for Nicole, but her own selfishness comes back into play. And it's just like, and Fred amped the whole thing up because he's trying to get that old thing back, try to get it back to where they were. And so I don't know what the hell is going to happen at this point, but I was highly upset and angry at this episode. But it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So I guess we got to watch the next episode. But overall, I still thought it was a good episode. I love how as June's listening to these tapes that Commander Lawrence, you know, used to make for his wife Angela, how she we find out that the paper that Rita gave Serena was actually a tape where June basically tells Luke that, you know, the baby was made out of love. So she alludes that, you know, she tells him who the father is, and we know that Nick actually met Luke when the water first went to Canada before, and so he knows that like Nick is the father of the baby and that she has this other relationship, and she basically tells Luke that he can let go. Like, she will always remember him, but she understands that he has to live his life. He can't keep waiting for June to come back, because to be honest, she doesn't know if she can come back to him. And she tells him that she's here to save Hannah. Like, that is what her mission is, that is what she's trying to do. But in the meantime, like, he has to live his life. He has to keep moving on, keep moving forward for Nicole, for Hannah, for her. And so I love that she kind of lets him, you know, kind of relinquish a little bit of the guilt that he's been dealing with, that he can't save her, that he really can't do anything. And so I think it'll be interesting to see how this is going to play out in this week's episode. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on The Handmaid's Tale Season 3, Episode 5, Unknown Caller. As always, my name is Sharona from Pay Your Weights, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.